Morning to you too, Azwe, and a very good morning to you if you've just tuned in. You're still watching Morning Live. And now on to an interview that we've all been waiting for. Fondly known as the General to his political colleagues, Bantubonke Holomisa is the former leader of the Transkei and the former Deputy Minister of Environmental Affairs and Tourism, and he is the current president of the United Democratic Movement, which is the UDM. He has been a close friend of our former president, Dr. Nelson Mandela, on the one hand, and on the other, he was expelled from the ANC. This makes his co-authored biography, Bantu Holomisa, the game changer, a must read. And I can tell you it is indeed a must read. It kept me up all night yesterday trying to find out more about General Sawubona Yaphila.
Siyabulela, mama.
Thank you so much for coming through. And this book, you were telling me earlier on that it took you 2 years.
Yes, we started to write this book in August 2015. And it was finished in August this year. Mm-hmm. It's been taxing, I might say so.
Yeah. So how was the journey? So you were not happy with certain things. You had to take it back to put Eric for...
Yes, the author was Eric Naki, and he would take notes from me. Sometimes he comes back with those notes and mixing them up, and then I had to correct them. And then we took the book to an editor, and the editor also took his own paragraphs away, and then I would say, no, bring that paragraph back. So it was fight all along.
Yeah, so you wanted everything to be perfect. But then in the book, you described as many things. You described as a strategist, a thinker, an analyst, someone who's very bold and outspoken man. Is that how you see yourself?
No, that we must leave it to the people in the public to
decide.
Give the opinion. I cannot judge myself.
All right, but something that we know is that your name seems to be following you, because Bantu meaning the man of the people. You get along with everyone, be it your ANC or EFF leaders and everyone, even just an ordinary man on the street. So how do you get that right, and why is it important for you?
Well, I guess it's because of the upbringing. I'm from a royal family, and my home has been a home to all. The people of that area will tell you that when you visit the home of Holomisa, you are not chased away or you are asked, you didn't make appointment. So I've adopted that principle, and it has helped me. Although I was expelled from the ANC, one would have expected that you wouldn't speak to those people, or you wouldn't even think of helping them. But I did the opposite. I never burned the bridges.
Yeah, but why did you not hold any grudges at that particular moment? Because the book talks about how you were expelled, and of course your meeting thereafter with the former president, Dr. Nelson Mandela, and then after your meeting with him, that's when you decided to drop your appeal on your expulsion from the party.
Well, I decided to play according to the rules. And that is, if you have been expelled, that means those people don't want you. And I was also humbled when President Mandela, 8 days after I was expelled, he said the issue of Bantu and that of Sarafina too, according to his mind, it was not properly handled. Hence, I went to him and say, are you saying let the bygones be the bygones? If that is the case, I'm going to withdraw the application against your movement, and that let's continue and eat musho and nyama as usual, and we can communicate, and that was it. But I said to him, I've accepted that the ANC has expelled me, but I will never apologize for what I said.
Which is what they wanted, an apology.
No ways. Yeah. There was no way that I could apologize by making a reference to an historical event.
Yeah. But what actually led to those events? Because the book even talks about the fact that you were not happy, of course, about your expulsion due to some evidence that you tabled before the TRC Commission.
Well, unfortunately, the leadership of the ANC misread my presentation completely at the TRC, because I was there to ask the TRC to compensate the families of the deceased soldiers who were killed in an abortive coup in 1990. on the occasion of K.D. Matanziman's Tao approaching Pretoria to ask Pretoria to remove us forcefully. Hence, that abortive coup was backed by de Klerk and his government. So on that score, I said, please compensate the families of those people. Then I gave a background of how did we come into power. We came into power because we established, or we found out that Sol Kesner paid 2 million rands to the entire cabinet of Transkei, and then we listed those names. And then ANC took an exception by making a reference to Stella Ska, who was part of that, of those proceeds from Sol Kesner. So when they said I must apologize, I said, for what? I'm making a reference. So that's why I said, you can go jump. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Even if it means I must lose my cabinet post or the membership for that matter.
Yeah.
And here am I. It was a taboo at the time to mention the word corruption. But today, even the main suspect in this country is parading and masquerading around the country saying he's going to fight, or he's fighting corruption. So who's fooling who?
Well, I believe that's the question. While we're still in conversation with General Bantu Holomisa, you can join in the discussion at Morning Live SABC. That's our Twitter handle. If you do have questions to him, perhaps, or comments on the conversation, please put through your questions. We'll be able to put them through to the General himself. Let's just go back a little to the time when you were still growing up, of course, as you made mention of the fact that you're from the royal family. How was it growing up within the royal family? Because there's a very strict upbringing that takes place within that, and there's also a practice that's called ukufihla komntwana enkosi. It means, you know, hiding away the royal children. So how was it? Did it in a way shape who you are now?
There's no doubt about that. And also I went to a school, Jonglizwe College, after I passed my standard 6 then. And at the Jonglizwe College, the discipline was the main issue, and also to make sure that you arrive on time for prayers in classrooms. And over and above that, that college, it taught us such subjects as conduct of public affairs, current affairs, the office routine, African law, and many other aspects, other subjects, including those ordinary metric subjects.
Yeah.
So when I passed standard 10 then, I had, together with my colleagues, 2 certificates, one for leadership as well as one for the ordinary standard 10. And then I went to the army. And then in the army, you know it.
But you went to the post office before the army,
post
right?
office for 6 months,
Yeah.
and then I was recruited. I left.
But that's the very same college where you first saw your wife, but you couldn't do anything. No and say anything at that particular time.
No, she was too young.
She was too young.
Yeah.
But you were also afraid and saying,
No. She was too young. I was also young at that stage. So we used to play together there. Yeah. On the ground, on the school grounds.
But later on you met. We'll get into those details, General, in a short while. Well, let's take a quick break here on Morning Live. We're still in conversation with General Bantu Holomisa at Morning Live SABC's Twitter handle. Any questions or comments that you might have to the General, please send them through.